Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 653. Today, we're doing Battle with Dooley. And so I intended on playing Vanessa pretty much from now until, until Tempo gets back from their holiday break, but I haven't really enjoyed Vanessa in this meta. She can certainly be successful. The builds that I enjoy playing with Vanessa, the pathing I like out of Vanessa, isn't too successful in this patch. I don't really like going for like the single item boats. I don't like going for weather glass. It's not to say that they're bad. It's just not something that I enjoy playing, and so we'll skip past that here. But with this set, what can we do? We got the ignition core, which we covered off on 2 videos ago. Not opposed to going after it. The critical core, which we haven't done here recently, and the weaponized core as well. And so I've heard rumblings that the weaponized core isn't terrible. Right, if you think of a lot of the builds right now that are good against the opposing dualies, like if you assume every dualie is a lizard dualie, trying to kind of scale up at the end, the way you just beat them is to kill them before the poison can scale up. And I've heard rumblings that the weaponized core is supposed to be able to do that, but I haven't seen people actually doing it, and so I'm not entirely certain how factual that is. And so we'll switch over to the critical core here. This tends to lead into dual core style builds where we use the critical core and the combat core, but you can have anything happen with this, and so we'll see what turns up along the way. So kicking things off here at the beginning, we'll just take the experience point. No shops that I was particularly interested in, and now we'll just fight Pyro. I know that the drone will beat us with nothing. I think Fanged Inglet will beat us as well. Pyro does not. Don't want to be losing battles here in the early game, especially as we already spent that experience point. Okay, though. Okay. Let's see what the old core can do. As we're waiting on the sandstorm to come, I went to the grocery store today. It's almost that time. It's that season. As this video comes out, it's the 21st. You're going to need your deviled eggs on the 24th to 26th or so. So you storied visitors are already ready. You've purchased your eggs ages ago. But for those new folks around here that are just getting new to the holiday game, I went to the grocery and it was like a dozen eggs was like $5.50 a thing. It's like, fuck me. This shit's so expensive. But the secret that I give, the life hack that I share with the viewers is that if you go to the like cage-free, farm-raised, non-organic GMO, like with all the labels on it, it's cheaper for whatever reason. I don't know why. If it's just because they do higher volume on like the standard grade A larges, or if they're just cheaper because of market forces. I don't know what the deal is, but I did notice the 18 pack of grade A large normal people eggs was like $8, but the 18 pack of cage free brown eggs was only like $5. And so life hack right there, hit you with the hacks. The cage free is what's supposed to be good, right? You don't watch don't watch the fucking videos of people going into the poultry farms. That's how like our college life started out. Is in our program they were like focused more heavily on research. God, we're just like digging straight into poison. Focused more heavily on. Oh, hang on, shit. If we're going to be going double core, I'm going to want the GPU. We fucked this up a little bit. Hang on. I'm gonna come back and take both of these. I was getting distracted because I was making words, but it was focused more on research, and they did a lot of the research stuff. Their theme for the year was focusing on like the food industry and the fast food industry, and we spent a lot of time going through the various research into how shitty it was for like a cow and how shitty it was for like a chicken and all that kind of stuff. And so probably should have focused a little more on the farm, the cage free stuff anyways, after going through that experience. It's that bullshit. It's like when you're like a middle schooler and they make you watch videos of shit giving birth. Like I don't know, maybe that was just my life experience, to where instead of telling kids about putting a penis in a vagina or something. They're just like, watch this video of a goat giving birth, because that's all the input you need on sexual education. Fucking bonkers. Read your Bible. Read your Bible. Abstain from sex stuff. Watch this goat give birth. The West Virginia court to sexual education. Jesus Christ. All right. We're getting off topic. We're on the sandstorm round, so they got to end kind of quickly, right? We managed to take this round down. Oh, boy. We're off to a start today. Fucking poultry farms and cage-free eggs. I did not intend about talking about this stuff. I intended on talking about deviled eggs and then moving on. The way you get from point A to point B is fucking wild sometimes. But let's see, how are we going to push forward with this? Let's focus in on the game here. Going to just pick up the loot items. I wasn't intending on just landing on burn with the critical core, but that's what kind of seems to be playing itself out. The sharpening stones, probably just better at this point. It's never bad on the core, right? Let's go ahead and stack it up. How's this looking at this point? At this stage right now, we did manage to spike a lighter. We've got the GPU. The interesting thing with this kind of stuff is if we're going to go dual core with the combat core, then the Omega Rays do have the additional thing to pop off of, right? And so you have two cores. Those cores activate the scaling on Omega Rays, and so we'll keep that in mind as we push on. But here, we'll just go to Finn's Big Bite. I'm fine enough with the regen this early. Don't want to spend any money at this point if we're going to be kind of keeping our eyes forward on large items. We're going to be looking for that large core and then a red ray here in the early game. And so we'll see how we can't path towards that. So let's just go for the level ups as we can. As far as these go, Borear should be stronger than us at this point. So let's skip past it. We'll just fight the Tent City Mayor. I know that we can win this round. Picking up any of these, either the augmented defenses or augmented weaponry, would be quite strong, and so should be a reasonable battle. Whew, welcome to Battles with Bust. Man, we really hit it hard today. hit it hard right at the beginning. Jesus Christ. Got the new game out here. You got like my 9 followers that I've picked up over the past year. They know what's up. They know what kind of bullshit will accidentally come out, and then that new guy turns up. He's talking about reading Bibles and goats giving birth. What the fuck did I sign up for? Good stuff. Alright, so what do we got? Scrap upgrades. We can save that for our combat core. Let's push on. And so, let's just keep jamming this experience points. I don't think you can find it. Oh, fuck, I pushed the wrong one. God, why is 25 max health even an option? It doesn't even scale for the round. Like, just 25 max health. God damn it. At least we'll still level up before the next battle happens. We can look at large items, see if the combat core will turn up here at this point. Ah, God, we got to focus in. So there was a ray. We'll take the ray. I'm not opposed to picking up maybe this Uzi as well. Bomb squad's not that good here. It's like for this round, we'll end up putting the ray in. We'll level up, and so we'll want that space to be taken up. Okay. So what do we got now? Poison, burn, cooldown, friends, loot items, or friend? I'm curious. I mean, at least the way this is pathing, we're kind of looking like we'll have multiple rays, but let's just take the loot items. I think the cooldown is where we want to kind of be for the round. I'm going to go ahead and sell the extracts. I don't plan on having a poison item that isn't gamma ray. Okay.
We're out to dethrone a king, not to squabble with nobodies.
So how's your day been? If you talk to anybody about goats giving birth? I'm gonna be stuck. I don't know if I can get it out of my head before the end of the video. It just is what it is. You gotta just stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. All right, this should be an easy round though. He doesn't have any ammo. We took 2 shots from a bronze cannon. Very easy takedown.
Says at the bar. Another round.
Doesn't like Crip ever just stop and start talking about stuff like this? You fire up the big streamers, right? Like Crip's out there, Northern Lions out there. They aren't just talking the Bazaar 100% of the time, right? Crip's not just a robot that's just 100% Bazaar all the time. What's he do? Like switch to talking about Path of Exile on accident? I don't know. Maybe that's what he does. I don't get to get 40 hours of Crip in each week, and so maybe that's how it is. All right, though. Fairly weak set. Little interested in welding helmet. It's not something we'll keep forever, but it does work nicely with the build that we have right now. It's a fairly cheap investment at 2 gold, right? So we could just get rid of it and not feel too bad about it. Now we got a experience point upgrade. That seems good. And then the eccentric etherite we can beat. I think we're strong enough here to get the takedown. Trying to decide if we need to put like welding helmet in just to get a little bit of defense. Something like this. Uzi's not super strong. Bomb squad's not super strong. But we still get a little bit of defense with that burn scaling. Seems okay. Then don't intend on being a force field build, but it could be a nice holdover until we find a combat core. Rigged is the big one to try and win out of this battle. The round start haste 2 items for 3 seconds. It's one of the most bonkers skills in the game if you're able to get a win in this round. Hope y'all are having a good Christmas time out there, though. I'm all done. I finished my Christmas time purchasing a day or so ago. Had to wait on some Pokemon cards to come in off the old internet. I had to purchase some beef jerky, and then we were good to go. Got some lucky family members getting Pokemon cards and beef jerky, and so welcome to being in the Bust family. So what do we got here? A tool, weapon damage, cooldowns, burn. Just take the weapon damage, keep stacking it on this critical core. There is definitely a world to where this Omega Ray comes out, and I don't want to be stacking burn on it if it's something that we end up removing here in a day or two. All right, so that looks good. Just keep leveling up the critical core. Got to go to the large items now. Shouldn't be that tough to find a combat core. Here it is. Good stuff. So we can fit that in. We're not going to use the force field with it. And so if you haven't caught on to the idea that we're trying to do here, the things with these combat cores is it's a core, right? So it has the core keyword up here at the top. This has the core keyword at the top with the critical core that we start with. So whenever we use the GPU, it activates both of them. If we come in and see the Omega Ray text when you use the core, it does say the core, not a core, but it counts both of them. So if we use either of the cores or another ray, then your burn items get that 1 burn. And so we're looking to stack in things that let us activate off both of the cores. So things like GPU, things like cool LEDs that slow whenever you use a core, things like the various rays. And then we're going to use this to just stack up the big damage on the combat core. The thing we'll try and press forward with the combat core is it does let you unlock using the large item things. If you're just familiar with playing Lizard Dooley, he doesn't have large items that he uses, and so he doesn't get that stuff to where like large item free, large item slow bunch of stuff, large item adjacent items get damage. Like we're going to look to take advantage of some of that stuff with the combat core being a big activator, and so we'll see if any of those items turn up as well. But now we got a good home for scrap. We can bring the Uzi in. It's a fairly quick activator on combat core here. Moving forward with this stuff though, I don't think we want to just take relax. That seems kind of greedy here on day 3 just to take the temporary boost. Guess we could go Curio. Just sell the junk.
Well, howdy, hero.
I was kind of leaning towards just taking the 50 gold, but it at least turns out to be a decent Curio, right? We've got 2 cooldown items. We've got a shield boost thing that hits both edges of the core. Let's go ahead and start doing this stuff. Cooldowns, core upgrade, regen, shields. I don't think, well, maybe we do take the burn and then just not roll, right? We only have 5 gold at this point. We don't have too much opportunity to get crazy with what we can do with the rolls here. Okay, that's fine enough. Then up to battle against Vanessa. We'll see how we do.
Ahead. Underestimate me. It makes this more fun.
We'll see if it turns up at the end of this, or the next time we level up. But the other interesting thing with these cores is like when you get level up a core, it levels up both of them, and so very, very powerful ability to hit in that sense. Just tearing through this Vanessa though. You get like one activation on his scimitars.
More plunder.
That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. Alright, so what do we got here? Looking like the monster loot. Such an overtuned ability here. Spend the 8 gold on the abilities. What do we got? Regen and cooldown for everything. Get all of our money back. Pretty good day. Could look towards silver tier items, but our money is kind of fucked at this point, so we'll just take the experience and the gold. And then in the next set, I'm pretty certain we can beat Hydro Dude. These two others don't have any items that we specifically want, though. I think I can never remember if Blood Reef Raider has haste potion. I don't think he does. I think we're strong enough against Hydro Dude here. We're not scaling in any shields on our core, but I think we'll deal enough damage before the what's it called? The Hydra pops off. These combat cores tend to deal tons of damage. 300 crit rolling in that round. We got 10 regen as well. That adds in for quite a bit of health sustain. Would have probably been a pretty good round to just take the Uzi out, though. As you're in here dealing 2 damage every 2 seconds with the Uzi, and he's dealing 70 on every activation back. Would have been a sense maker. So what do we got? Tools, cooldown, upgrade, left item, damage, or burn. I don't want to get too greedy and not spending the upgrades. The things that I would like to upgrade here is ideally we would have a red ray. I would ideally be upgrading red ray here. And then after that, I'd kind of like to get our cores at the same spot. So maybe we do just upgrade the core. It doesn't have to be a silver tier item. It's just, it should say upgrade your leftmost silver tier or lower tier item. So we can upgrade the bronze in it. We'll wait on the combat core. It's not a real challenge to get these things upgrading. So in this next set, I don't want friends. Life story, am I right? Story of my life right there. We'll go to the docks and pick up a weapon. See if we can't pick up something to fit in with that ray we're looking for. Doesn't turn up. Now I'm just going to go to crit skills. We would ideally, be critting as often as possible. Every crit that we get puts a charge in on the critical core, and so we want to land those where we can. 20% crit onto large items, what we're looking for. Doesn't look like it's in here, but some decent stuff, right? This is why I like having access to these large items. You see things like, the first time you use a large item, adjacent gain stuff. First time you use large item, give your items 8%. Like, we didn't land on the big one, 20% to combat core, but these are definitely things that you don't get when you have to play towards the lizard and you have to ignore all these large item things. But I think we'll just put the flat crit on everything. Well, maybe not. The downside to this is you would really prefer the combat core to be something like this, so it activates onto critical core and omega ray, but then it starts scaling on shields instead of damage, so we need it to be out here at the end. Let's just do the everything gets a bonus. I think that'll be okay. Sell the regen thing. Battle up against Dooley. He's at level 7 already. Jesus Christ. I don't feel like I know we've skipped some nodes. We haven't fought the max level PvE round every time, but it takes some work to get this high up. Andy's got rigged. He's got the skill we talked about earlier. Round start, haste 2 items. It's a pretty good place to be for old Lizard Dooley. Alright, so let's see if we can't get a takedown before this stuff scales up. He's not 100% scaled up. It is tough to fight through these brick buddies, though. It's the kind of item you see out of early game Doolies, but typically don't see out of late game Doolies, and so pretty certain we're going to lose this round. That 70 poison has already come in and stacked up, but it's not something you typically see in the later game. Not certain why this is lagging so hard. Guess we can reset the game. We get a juicy crit in at the end of the day, but our combat core is not going to make it before the poison falls through. So weird though, seeing them up so many levels. It's wild. All right, we're getting back at it. Restarted the game. Hopefully that lag goes away. Hopefully there's just like too many people on the game, right? as we're hitting Christmas, people went out. They got their big their big builds. They got their new water cooled RTX 5090 machine out here, all fired up and ready to go to the Bazaar. So good problem to have. Maybe that's the deal. But what do we got here? Poison, max health, tool cooldown, coconuts, just a bunch of garbage. We'll take poison on this. I don't really think that we'll stick with the gamma ray forever, but there's no other poison items that will fit in that spot. Moving up next, though, I typically, well, I guess the bronze tier shop is here, but it's like the Artisan of the Dunes is good for poison and burn. The matchup against damage for the critical core isn't very good, though. Yeah, we can go to the bronze tier shop. See what we get. Looks like garbage on the first set. Just damage, stuff we're not going to use. Magma core, icicle. No, like, self or bonus stuff. Very weird coming out of there. But we got extract. I don't think we'll use first Aiden in this build, so I'm going to skip the repair bot. Damage, cooldown.
Well, you're doing your part to clean up the bazaar.
Not the strongest shop, but still more damage than we'd be getting out of going to the artisans. Alright, so that looks good. Then we can just jump into mod squad here. There are good skills on Sabretooth, but again, I think we want to snatch up the experience. Some decent things that we can pick up out of this as well. Crypto's never terrible. Beautiful Friendship might do nothing, and so add it in. But yeah, as I watched that Reynad Q&A, there was something that hit home in it as we played tons of Legends of Runeterra. One of the things that happened in Legends of Runeterra once they just switched over to PvE only is they added in a like round speed thing, so you could play the game on 4x speed instead of just like normal speed. And you see the same thing in backpack battles, as to where you can have it on normal speed, and then you have the option to either just like slow the battle up or speed it down. Slow it up or speed it down. That's the way things happen, right? And so, you know, somebody asked Reynad if they're going to add in a way to speed up the battles, and he's like, "Why would you ever do that? Why would you make a game that's so boring to watch that people want to speed up the battle so that they don't have to watch the game that they're playing?" And I was like, "Wow, that's fucking spot on as it is." Like I had my mind blown that they would do that in Legends of Runeterra. To just like you're playing a card game that has like all these level up animations and everything in it, that's made to look real pretty, made to make card games not just look like fucking rectangles on the board like you get with Magic. And the nerds are like, "This is too boring, let's speed it up." It's like, oh wow, what a way to put it forth. But what are we going to do here? There's no medium items that I think we want. We're not going to use any of them. We'll just take the temporary boost here. Since it's the only decent option, we can take the mountain pass now. Should be able to beat pretty much anything on the risky event. Only an experience point's kind of a bummer. Now, what do we have in here? Either we're going to go for the barrier protocol, right? Your core gains shield. Otherwise, it's get an item, income, burn time, cooldowns. Yeah. Kind of a meh round. Alright, another level 7 Dooley. Yeah, I thought that was very well put. Why would you make a game that's so boring to watch that your players don't want to watch it? Another thing that blew my mind, like I was accidentally on Twitter the other day, and I saw that Riot's releasing a physical card game, right? It's not Legends of Runeterra in card form. Ah, Jesus fuck. Like half a tick away. It's some kind of I don't know if they're trying to make like Legends of Runeterra Commander, like Magic Commander, and then Legends of Runeterra Commander, or what it looks like it's meant to be like multiplayer card game within the physical space. And I saw Dave Guskin was one of the leads on it. He was the previous lead on Legends of Runeterra, so it was interesting to see all that stuff pop up. So with this, I don't think we're going to use Chris, but he's getting pretty powerful at this point. We have a bunch of money, so we'll go ahead and take it. We're really just looking for rays. We're looking for cool LEDs, and try and get away from this lighter and get away from this Uzi. Nothing here is going to help. Moving into this next set. Here's cool LEDs. It's a bit unfortunate they're unupgraded, but again, as we use a critical core, use a combat core, they both get the slow activations off of it. Reasonably powerful there. Garbage out of this next set, though. Okay. So let's go ahead and see. Probably stick something like this. Such a fast activating Uzi. Alright, I'm fine with that. Probably just continue to battle the Lone Shark. It's so hard to hit on something like Dire Mosquito. It does have some good haste options within it. Might have slow. He has some slow things, right? Let's actually battle here. It's like as we add in cool LEDs, I think there might be things that are useful. Like we're not going to use Proboscis, but like when you slow haste a weapon, should be pretty spectacular with the cool LEDs if we do manage to hit. And then if we don't, there's still lots of good upgrades in the round, right, with all this cooldown reduction. Probably get something shitty like Amber, but you know, Stinger. Thanks. Thanks, game. Just out here trying to do something cool. All right, next set though. The monster loot's so free, but like we need to get some haste somewhere. But we're pretty close to just locking in our build, right? We'd like to replace Uzi with the red, the red ray, and then we can switch between either Omega or Gamma, but we would prefer to have Freeze Ray in here as well. I guess there's a world to where we fit a medium item in instead of either of these rays. All right, we'll look for haste. Well, the Freeze Ray turned up. No complaints about that. Okay. And all right. Let's go to the rare event. Maybe something cool will turn up. Nope, Bazaar Con. Don't think we want to go diamond here. Let's just roll the dice on small items. We got a little bit of space out here. Is this guy cool? Charge your other non-weapon items by 1 second. Not really. Why would we ever get something cool out here? Alright, sell some of that stuff off we'll never use. Grab these items. There is a slow component to it, right? That Umezawa's Jitte does work with the cool LEDs. But not too interesting. We'll just take the scrap. Like we might actively push the poison out and not use it. So the scrap upgrades come in on the combat core. That's good. I'm going to pull the Uzi out for the Beta Ray. Might as well put the Beta Ray out to the left since it won't crit. Can still get crits on the Gamma Ray and Omega Ray. I think that's fine. Alright, let's battle. Level 6 opponent here. Day 6, level 6. I wonder if the opponent's looking at us and going, how did he get to level 8 so fast? It's not that unreasonable. His items just have to be so good, though, right? Like, how do you get to this stage of the game without spending any time on experience points? You have to be just, like, super itemed out as he comes at us with Narwhal. I don't know. Did manage a big 300 crit out of the combat core. Second one comes in for 260. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Okay, upgrade, bro. Let's sell some of the stuff we're never going to use. So bomb squad, Uzi guy, ointment, never going to use. Lighter, I don't think we'll ever use. Wand is the one that's kind of up in the air. I think if we had ways, well, two things. If we had ways to haste it, that would be interesting. But like our haste thing is just going to be GPU. That's never going to come together. And then it's only going to hit our non-weapon items. So it's not going to hit critical core. It's not going to hit combat core. If we hit red ray, it's not going to hit it. So let's just go ahead and sell that. Jitte, I don't think this is ever a thing, right? This is one of the ways to where I wish you could really get in this game and start cooking, right? To where we're getting the slows out of the cool LEDs, and that's helping scale up Jitte. And then it's like maybe with another slow item, it's a nice combo of things, but that's just never going to be a thing at this stage of the game. So we'll get rid of it as well. Don't want to risk having to upgrade it off of this event that we're about to go to. So we get an upgrade off of combat core, and then duct tape turns up for whatever reason. We're not going to be a duct tape build, so we'll just leave that behind. But upgrade to the core is not useless, I guess. Now gumballs, small weapon, or non-weapons. We'll go to the non-weapons. Can find some upgrades with it. Initial set, not that interesting. Looks like we got an upgrade to the beta ray. Okay. Alright, next set. And with these, I do like to fight Thug. He doesn't give as much experience as Chili Charles, but he does have so many good items that come out of this encounter, right? Finding Bonk is massive. Finding Thieves Guild is massive. Even landing on something like Strength isn't horrible, right? It's better than just being like, oops, I found an item that only gives 3 gold. You do get good stuff out of the bludgeon as well. Your leftmost slow item gets +2 slow. Makes cool LEDs put massive slows down on the opponent once you get it upgraded. Putting like a 5-second slowdown every time you activate a core is a pretty massive deal. But we hit the shitty one. Is what it is. So here, let's skip the poison. We'll go after the skills. We're getting to the stage of the game to where the build is locked in, and we probably just want skills anyways. These are all garbage, though. Let's take a roll and just try and find higher tier ones. Right, putting a flat 12 shield onto the combat core, not that good. Anything interesting out of here? Slow on large item use is fine. Can put poisons, but that seems kind of shitty. This has been a fairly weak set of skills. It seems like we needed to wait a day or two before these popped up. But let's just go with Net Launcher. Take the slows and get out of here. So next set, I think we'll go to the docks and take weapons again. Again, there's just like not any medium items that we want. Small tool is very, very random. Got the briefcase, Pygmalion coming to hang out. We got coconuts, friends, damage. Let's take the damage out of this. I think I still want to keep putting the damage onto critical core. It seems like it should be activating faster than the combat core. And then the combat core is going to be scaling itself up anyways. And so I think that seems reasonable. Now we're up against a 3-win Dooley. It's getting to that scary point when you're up against opponents that have small numbers of wins. Because it means they started off bad and then they've been turning their run around. And so I don't know what to think of this one. He's got that heal wand in the middle. Doesn't seem like he's really making use of his core either, but easy takedown. Finish things off with a big 1k crit. Good job. Okay, so what do we got here? Mostly garbage. We'll go to the bronze tier junk. What do we got? So we got cooldowns, damage, heals we're going to skip. Up next, we got more damage. Ooh, bludgeon turned up. That's nice. More damage. We've got to make a sell real quick. So cooldown on everything. I mean, I guess it's fine putting our damage onto critical core, right? I think that logic makes sense. It may not be right, but it does make sense. And that putting this should be our fastest acting weapon, and then the combat core is going to scale its own anyways. So bludgeon goes onto the cool LEDs. Gotta love that. Get that extra slow out of it. Another cooldown reduction. Not a bad round. Next set, health for power. This is a very big one as you're out here battling on critical core. This does have the option to give up a certain amount of health to put the deadly enchant on something. And so we can put the deadly enchant on the combat core, get it up to 70% crit, have it making big combos out here with the critical core. Very interested in doing that. So that's this one, right? Lose 20% max health and enchant your leftmost weapon with deadly. We want that to go onto the combat core. And off to battles. And so this is a vehicle, right? With the combat core, we can't go to the frigate. It has vehicle stuff in it. I think that's okay. Burninator bot just doesn't give us anything ever, and so I guess we'll give up on those experience points. Who needs health anyways, right? Oh, this is not vehicle centric. This is burn centric. That's my bad. I'm thinking of the new encounter. That's okay. Seems like we're still holding up this round. Big crits coming in at the end of the day. Alright, so yeah, a bit of a bummer. Next set, though, I think we need to go into gold tier. I wish I knew how the game worked. Like, it seems like as you go into these gold tier rounds, we need silver tier stuff for like GPU and cool LEDs. It doesn't seem like GPU ever turns up in the gold tier round, right? And so it's like as we're out here trying to find red ray, like I guess the better place for it would just be weapons. But it's so weird to go into the shop and just be like, yeah, we're probably just not going to upgrade anything because we already have the stuff we want, but it's all bronze. And we need to find the silver versions before the gold versions hit. Like, I'm not certain if the game works like that, but, you know, finding a gold red ray, finding a beta ray would be fine. Finding combat core we could afford, and so I guess it's decent enough to still hit that shop. Next set, we're going to level up before the next battle anyways, so the 2 experience points out of Bazaar Con, not as spectacular. Let's still keep trying to dig for this one item that we need. Nothing turns up on the first set. Nothing turns up on the second. Guess we should have taken that experience. I've learned my lesson long ago that you should just take the guaranteed one every single time, but this feels like with the state that the build's in right now, to where we haven't found the ray that we want and our items are all just stuck at bronze, we're going to get to 7 wins and just be done. We're never going to be strong enough to get to the higher level wins because of 2 separate things, right? Number one, we just can't find these upgrades. They're so hard to find upgrades to GPU, cool LEDs, whatever, that you're just weaker than the other opponents that did find their upgrades. And then 2, there's no item that does what these items do, right? That's kind of one of the core problems to the way the game is set up at the current moment, I do believe, is that you're supposed to not just be on this plan of being like, okay, I've assembled my build, let's just come out and upgrade it, right? You're supposed to find things out there that let you pivot to different builds and go do different things, right? And so we have a nice core component to what we're doing, right? Pun intended, I'm sure, is to where we have dual cores and we want items that say core on it so that we can do core things, but there's not a ton of items in the world that actually affect the core, right? We just passed on one of them. It was like the 2 hex item that hastes your core, and when you haste a core, you put 20 damage on it or something. Like it's a reasonable late game item, but there's no like things to be like, okay, well, I found the base, let's expand upon this base, right? I've got the base of cores, let's expand upon that. The items just don't exist, and so I think to a degree they went too wide with a lot of the items, right? Each champion has 100 items, and so you look at someone like Vanessa, and I get thematically why Vanessa has a bunch of aquatic themes, like the entire thing with the fishes and the fishing rods and a minor slow theme and the poison shit and all that. Like Vanessa has like 15-20 cards dedicated to the aquatic theme. That's 15-20 cards that could have been focused in on like the submarine aquatic theme, like the submarine slash pirate ship slash, I'm the captain of a boat theme that you see, or it could have been applied to the ammo theme. Like, it feels like the champions have just like too many themes, and that means there isn't enough card space to where they would be able to expand out this idea of just diamond tier items exist. And so, like, that's the spot that I feel like we're in right now, especially in this build. It's like, what would we ever find as an upgrade to what we're doing? It's not even like in the sense of, we have these rays and stuff. It's like, what late game, I guess that even does to a degree, like what late game thing would we find that upgrades the ray mechanic? What late game thing would we find that upgrades the core mechanic? It doesn't exist. And so we're forced to be out here either digging for guaranteed stuff to where we take the experience point or we take the skill every time, or we're out here just trying to fucking roll the dice like we did there and just completely whiffed. And it's like, oh, well, I could have taken the sure shot that doesn't upgrade my build any, but it doesn't, kind of upgrade the big idea of going to the bazaar and doing the shopping and stuff. And so, I don't know. Feels like a miss to me. But here, let's take the shields. We'll take the guaranteed buff in on our deadly combat core. Come into battle with this Dooley. Let's see how many bronze items he has in comparison. We'll see. I'll push the button. There we go. See if he's in the same boat. Well, it looks like he's got 8 skills and no bronze items. He does have some turdy units out here, though. Looks like he's trying to do a force field kind of thing. Does have a deadly force field. He's got his brick buddy going as well, which is a little scary, but we tend to scale better than the force field builds do, in the sense that force field needs that shield to stack up over and over and over again to where the damage just stacks on the combat core for us. So if he has 600 shield and we have 600 attack on our combat core, then we blast him with the core, his shields go to 0, and he doesn't have any damage for the next swing. So the next swing we should have like 800, 1000 attack on our combat core, to where his force field got maybe back up to 500, 600 or so. We just scale up because our resources don't go away. But moving forward, gotta find something good at the crit skills, right? It's all our build does. What's this diamond thing? When you crit, your burn items gain 3 burn. Doesn't even seem that good. doesn't seem that good. Like, I guess we could find a way to get another burn thing in here. It's just like we're not producing the volume of crits that you would want for that to be useful. So we'll just take the flat weapons to get 6%. Up in the next one, we got small and large items. That sounds decent. Nothing we need out of the first set. Here's a thing that says core on it, right? I have used the remote control before. When you get it up to diamond, it activates on like a 6-second cooldown instead of 10. But it's not a particularly strong item. Like, we're never using a 10-second cooldown item right now. We have to find it in diamond tier for it to ever be good. So nothing coming out of that. I suspect we'll just go to the roaming aisle now. We're not going to do single weapon things that you would get from Pharos. We'll recover our health with this tropical island. Get the birds of paradise out there and stuff. Alright, going well, going good. Easy takedown. Tropical island. Give us something good. Nope, seaweed. Just what we needed. So what's up next? Non-weapon items. See, gumballs, I guess we could go for gumballs. I do get in my head that they're just completely useless. This is one of the few builds to where no gumball is bad, right? All 4 gumballs can land on the deadly combat core, and so kind of keep that in mind. With this stuff, though, like, this is the kind of upgrades you're looking at, right? As far as core things. When you use the item to the left of this, charge the item to the right, whatever. But then when you use the core, give it 20 damage for the fight. I mean, Maybe that's just the place that we have to be. It's the downside with this is you have a thing like charging station that really cares about all of these core activations, but then it doesn't have an activator on itself. And so if we cut out like the GPU and the cool LEDs, then we lose all those charges that we would get on the critical core. We lose all the attack powers that we would get on the deadly core. It just seems like I get what you're supposed to be doing with this, but it's just such a negative to lose out on all of the items. And so we'll skip over that one, I guess, and then just trash for the next round. Bummer. Bummer. All right, so what are we going to do for our big upgrade? I don't want to upgrade the combat core. These are easy enough to find. I'd rather hit a non-core thing, but it's been such a bummer that we don't have like the red ray. The red ray would be the big upgrade here. I think I just want to upgrade GPU so we get that 2-second haste on our cores. Okay. Alright, so up next, we could try the armory for a high roll. Otherwise, well, this is probably what we should do. We have a ton of money, right? We should just go to the Aerodome and start rolling until we find skills. Rare, event, or merchant. All right, roll the dice. Roll the dice, baby. Fucking Bazaar Con. What a dog shit round from earlier. Do you want to roll the dice on this one, though? Just find a diamond tier item. Replace Gamma Ray with it. Let's do it. That's the way life is, isn't it? Diamond tier Narwhal. I'm saving all my luck up for the Mega Millions, and so the next, as this video is recorded, I've probably won that 800 milli. Just be out here flexing. I'll get my RTX 9090 water cooled PC edition once I hit that big jackpot. All right, just getting murdered this round. Just absolutely murdered. He's doing just stuff way better than us. All of his things are upgraded. He has a big pile of skills. All the stuff that we would want, he'd found access to that we haven't seen yet. And so, let's jump into the item shop. Just completely miss again. Things like antimatter chamber, not on the table. Could look towards metronome, I guess, but we have the hastes that we want coming out of the GPU, so we'll skip over that. Next set, everything off theme, just pure garbage. All right, let's move on. And so, friends we don't want. There's no friend item that we actually need. We don't want burn items, so we're stuck with the temporary boost. Get that 25 attack power for our friends. And now Void Golem is the... he's the Caltrops guy, right? I think we can still beat him, but let's take some of this stuff out that we're never going to use, like cool LEDs and Beta Ray. I don't think we need. It's like, to what degree can we still level up our deadly core enough to where we don't just die to Caltrops? We'll just keep it in. Like, maybe the play is to move the core further to the left so we get to develop some shields. Oh, he blew up an item we don't care about. So that's at least a perk. Yeah, we're getting fucking domed by the Caltrops. Should have known better. Like, I've definitely had combat core builds that can survive this round, but man, that was fucking brutal. What a waste that one was. All right, next set though. What do we got? When you slow, your weapons gain 6 damage. Some scaling. We could at least get something out of it. Slow regen, don't want, and slow freeze. Let's just take the damage bonus. If we're actually able to get the cores up and running faster, that's going to be decent. Now we got the small item shop. Can't wait to see how hard we whiff on this. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Sure thing, right? Give the core 5 damage. It's just it's so low for a gold tier item. When this gains haste, charge it, whatever, and then that's such a bad item. And then up next, hey, if you bitch enough, something good will turn up, right? We get access to the alpha ray that we've been looking for ages. Perfect. And so let's add that in. Now the thing is, I'm curious if we can't just find, say, something like this to where we put Chris Army Knife in. We lose out on a core, but we do pick up on all of the extra damage from here. And so alpha ray activations will hit Chris. Cool LED activations will hit Chris. I think this might be okay. to actually cut out the ray. You do get, like, when you incidentally use the other ray, though, you get that 12 damage bonus. That's tough. We'll add in Chris. I don't think I'm going to be super impressed, but I'm not certain how the math on that works to where if we replaced the ray with just, say, like a generic non-weapon item, then we completely miss out across the board. But adding a weapon in place of a ray that's now going to get the attack bonus off of the red ray, maybe that balances out. I'm not entirely certain how that math plays out. Right? Does that make sense to where instead of, well, that ray activation would be hitting 3 items instead of 1. Maybe we are stuck just adding the ray back in, right? I was thinking we take the ray out, but when red ray activates, it's just going to put the attack power on Chris. But when that one ray activates, right, when the omega ray, when the gamma ray activates on its 4 and 4 whatever cooldown, it's going to hit the bonus onto 3 items instead of just 1. So we should probably put it back in. Although the slow and steady does hit Chris to where the alpha ray activation thing wouldn't. Alright, though, what do we got? Just a bunch of shitty cooldown stuff? The cooldown stuff all hits Chris. Sorry life's so hard for you, my dude. We just been out here talking trash about you. Alright, we'll keep you in then. We'll keep you in. We've been talking so much. We've been talking mad trash about Chris Army Knife. We got to keep him in the battle. The game says, Bust, you're a moron. You're trying to do math. You're giving people bad strategies. We're gonna disconnect you from the game before you pass out too much more nonsense. Do you all want to hear about free-range chickens? Have you ever seen a goat give birth? Well, have I got stories for you. Alright, so what do we got here, though? I'm leaning towards just starting to take chocolate bars at every turn, but we don't have the money. Like, we just spent a ton of money, so it doesn't show up as well. Like, going to just take weapons, we're basically looking for just gold tier items at this point, which we can't really afford. How much money do we have? We sell that nonsense. 28. Alright, we can go to the weapon shop.
Finished with fighting, but I can help you.
No, Chris, deadly moles in here. Don't think we can use it. Not a way to give it haste. Deadly race Carl? Jesus. All kinds of exciting stuff out here. Not for us today, though. Alright, next set, though. Got the skills turning up. Maybe we'll roll something diamond. We rolled a diamond, but not entirely certain we want that burn. I do like stop that, right? When you fall below half health, you slow enemy items for 3 seconds. It's going to hit all the enemy items, which is then going to combo with our attack power stuff. So kind of a neat thing there. This Lord Arkan, can we win at this point? Boss Haro does have some decent stuff. I don't know. Feels like we're just a little bit short of beating him. Finding something like Assault Focus would be pretty big. Might also combo with our slow and steady. Got this battle won, though. One of the things that would be interesting had we got that skill as well off of Boss Haro is that your, I guess GPU doesn't count, but Cool LEDs does, as to where even if the base item gets slowed, the core activation thing still works. And so that would have been kind of neat, because it sucks to slow your own items, but we would have had the key part still coming out of that. But strong stuff from Lord of the Wastes if we win this. Heavy weaponry's fine. Genie Lamp is good. Get all those sweet experience points as well.
To be a dervish is to be free.
To be a dervish is to be free. Truer words have never been spoken. What do we got? Boots? Sure. Alright, shield item, coconut, poison, cooldowns on the core. Looks good to me. Up next, we got items. Shield for the next battle. This is a decent spot to start taking these, or bronze tier junk. Yeah, we'll just shield for the next battle. Up against Dooley. See if it was useless or not. Lizard Dooley doesn't care too much about your shields, but Burn Booley, Red Dooley like we got does care. Alright, he's up against a burn version. Starting to stack up that damage. It's got us at about 150 burn at this point. Hasn't cracked our shields with it though. Seems like we're doing okay, but that damage is going to start scaling in quick. Missed a crit. Need this next one to crit. Would be nice. 1720 coming in. Thanks for battling, my friend. Okay, next set. Could fight sparring partner, right? The sparring partner we do well against since the scaling stays on the combat core, right? Kind of like when we talked earlier about the battle against force field, to where their resources go away, but the combat core keeps his stuff stacked. You do get to keep those damage boosts up against the sparring partner, but it's probably better than just rolling on weapons and missing, so that if we go like skill into skill, we can just drop 50 gold if we need to. Okay, we'll take it. Could have, I guess, swapped some of this stuff out. The slows don't do anything, the beta ray doesn't do anything, but it is what it is. So as we watch this battle, it does give us plenty of time to talk about childbirth, talk about factory farms. I'm glad we're good. I'm glad we have this free moment here as we battle the sparring partner. Talk about the important things in life. I got to decide with the deviled eggs though. I haven't put it together which ones I want to make. It's tough. Like whenever I go to a family event now, they expect the deviled eggs are going to be there, right? Nobody else makes them because I'm the only one. I make them every time, and you know, you don't really want to be doubling up on something like that and then just getting embarrassed when your eggs are worse than busts. And so it's like I'm the only one to make them, but I like to kind of branch out and make the different versions of them, the different flavors, the different kinds. But people always kind of want the classic, right? If you go to a Thanksgiving dinner, like your 90-year-old grandma doesn't want like the weird hipster version of deviled eggs that you make. They just want the classic. And so you gotta make both. And so I'm trying to decide if I want to deal with it. deal with making both or just sticking with the classics. I just did classics on Thanksgiving, so I'm thinking for Christmas I might mix it up a little bit, but I don't know what a Christmas themed deviled egg would be. May put some gin in it so it tastes so it tastes like piney. You know, put some peppermint in it so you have your sweet deviled eggs. Oh, that sounds fucking miserable. So who knows? All right, no medium items. Don't want that. Trash Titan is a very strong battle for us. It has a lot of large item synergies. It's got use a small item, charge large item, which would be huge. Large items get 72 attack power, would be big as well. And Awakened District, I think we probably just lose to. So hopefully we can high roll something out of here. Game probably just gonna lag the rest of the way as we fought the sparring partner. It seems like it's chunked down a little bit. Let's give us a little bit of opportunity to talk about sexual education in the state of West Virginia. What do we got here? A bunch of trash out of this one. Shield, friend cooldown, scrap is what I think we're taking. Tools or get a tool. Yeah, scrap it is. Now, again, like the same deal as we roll into this gold tier shop. I'm fine to just take the 10 gold for 150 health. I'm fine to pick the experience point, but we really need to upgrade some of this stuff. And it's like as we go to gold, You know, Chris and Combat Core upgrades would be fine, but I'm curious about the smaller end of the spectrum here, if we can ever upgrade Beta Ray in this. And from what well, Beta Ray counts, cool LEDs we shouldn't be able to upgrade, and so I don't know. Feels like we're just going to come in here and miss. Like, gold items miss across the board. Gold items kind of miss across the board. Chrono Barrier is definitely worth investigating. It's probably better than both of the LED things, just putting Dooley on a 2-second cooldown. And so I'm gonna take it. We'll see if it makes its way in. It's just it's probably better than the LED package, though. We're kind of limited in what we can take out at this point.
Some forge boss say I hide behind my shield.
But into the shield skills, what do we got? The charge thing is in here for certain. But what's this? When your enemy uses a weapon, your shield items gain shield. This isn't the patch for it. Hardened shield is strong, but this isn't like the yo-yo patch. This isn't a B patch, and so it doesn't do anything against the poison dualies. It doesn't do anything against the burn dualies, and so just not a strong patch for it. Large items get 72 shield is quite strong, and then the cooldown not as bad. But yeah, the electrification is going to be what we're looking for here. Up against Dooley, I think I do feel pretty good about just taking out GPU, taking out cool LEDs, putting Chrono Barrier in. It does get crit, so we'll put it to the right of the critical core. So we do, you know, lose out on haste. Maybe we should be taking Chris out and leaving the core haste thing in. That's tough. That's tough to decide. It's up against the nanobots. Not what I was expecting. It's hard to tell if we're holding up okay or not. Like our core definitely doesn't scale as fast. Did just get a big chunk of his health out. I'm gonna have to restart the game again. We should have never fought the sparring partner. But I mean, I'm definitely happy with the addition of Chrono Barrier. It just feels like if our big build around an activator thing is going to be the critical core. Shit, he's rolling in. How does he even get so much stacks of this stuff on us? I don't know. That just feels like a round you should win every time. I guess the what's his name? That DJ Nanobot or whatever puts the haste on all of his units. Alright, but enchant an item with shield effects. We'll just put that on the critical core. Oh, what a bummer. I don't know. Maybe Chris was the problem here. It just feels like we need to get as many activations out of our good items as we can. And that involves putting haste on the critical core. But next set, 350 health, fairly easy take. Small and mediums, I guess we can go to. Do have some upgrade points in here. Upgrading Chrono Barrier is absolutely massive if we can find it. Putting them up to 2 cooldown instead of 1. Of course we missed though. Let's get this upgrade in. Bring the GPU in for those hastes. Fight the Trash Titan again. See if we can't spike one of those large item skills. I do have me a nice Ultra Paradise Monster. I've switched from Red Bull. I feel like a tool drinking Monster. I feel like it doesn't really market towards my demographic. I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to talk about how extreme I am when I drink a Monster, but when the baby was being born and we were in the hospital, we were in there for like 5 or 6 days, and I went to like go get my daily caffeine. And they didn't sell Red Bulls. They didn't sell anything that had sugar in it. And so I had to start drinking like sugar-free stuff. And I was like, well, I'll just take the one with the green can, I guess. And so that's how I landed on the old Ultra Paradise Monster. And it's actually pretty tasty. That's all I get now. And so way to make me healthy, hospital. I appreciate it, I guess. But what's up here? Non-weapon items could work. Well, no, we'll just take the big barrier, the big shield. Up next, we got a shield skill. Maybe something good will turn up. Not when you burn. 72 onto the core is fine. when the enemy has more health than you. I'm not. It's so tough to judge how good this is going to be. Like we should be hitting this most of the time, right? Once we like cut out 25% of our health to put the deadly on our combat core, and so maybe this just works well enough. Get this finesse shield, and then I'll restart the game again. All right, next battle. Yeah, drinking the old monsters feels like I'm supposed to get on. You can't call it Twitter. You got to get on X and say something edgy. I don't know about something going on that you don't have too much knowledge about, but you read another edgy post on X, and so you're just repeating it. And then it's like you got to sit on your BMX bike. You don't actually ride it. You don't actually do any BMXing. You just sit on it for the look and the appeal. But are we winning? Are we doing it? Doesn't seem like this guy's scaling in poison, so we might be okay in this battle. The burn's starting to stack up, and we managed to actually have more health than him for most of the battle, and so surprised with how well that round went. Okay, let's fight it up. Let's battle. See if we can't get that last win. So what do we got? I want to take the kind of guaranteed hits if we can here. There's no item in the Bazaar that we want to find, so I'm just going to take the 150 health out of the eating contest. Let's fix this up. Just sell that shit we're not going to use. Take those. Up next, medium items don't want weapons. We can still find the core. Surprised we don't have the last core at this point. So nothing in here, no upgrades. Deadly Armadillo was kind of cool. Dinosaurs. We'll get the dinosaur build on video. At some point, we're not quite there. And now the big thing is we're at level 15. Once we level up into 16, we'll get the guaranteed upgrade, which probably just be putting onto combat core. I guess that's... Maybe we should have been hitting some of these medium item shops. That is the thing that you can find is the 16 gold thing that you sell to upgrade the core. Maybe that was the downside that we're going to have here is because we need to get this level up. I guess we'll hit it regardless, right? We're not going to fight Void Colossus. We just got fucked there last time. But we need to get this Chrono Barrier up to Diamond, and we'll get that when we level up. And so if we were worried about the number of orbs to get that level, then we would definitely want to stay away from the Void Colossus, but we can't kill it anyways, so we'll just fight the Master Alchemist here. Nothing useful is going to come out of either battle, I don't think. Yeah, I forget about that. Maybe we should have hit some of those medium item shops. It's that scrap item that upgrades the core, and that scrap item can be very interesting in the sense that the diamond version of it takes a second off the cooldown of your core, and so it does make sense to purchase even if you can't upgrade your core anymore. But here with the level up, oh, I thought we were getting the upgrade, not the enchantment. Shit. Well, let's put the radiant over onto the alpha ray, I guess. Critical core does make a bit of sense to put. Oh, I always worry about these slow item or small items though in this Dooley meta. Everybody runs beta ray, and just having it be frozen. Like, you know, if you have 100% crit on your item but it's frozen, it's not going to do anything. And so let's just take the radiant on that one. I travel almost anywhere. A little short on money at this point, but we can probably still try and find a diamond tier item. Hit a skill shop pretty quick. What's this? When you slow, gain regen, whatever. When you slow, freeze. That'll be our first one of those. That works for me. Don't need friends. It's like a time for the gumballs before the final battle. Boop. Boop. Boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Okay. And up against Pygmalion, no Dooleys to be found. And so I'm curious against Pig if you still want to keep Chrono Barrier in. It's like if we're up against, say, Crook, then the Chrono Barrier probably not going to do enough. I would probably rather have just the raise in scaling against Crook. But if we're against like a bird build, I don't care, right? We have the beta ray freezing the little bird, and that's probably just good enough. And I would prefer to have the scaling from the rays. I think we probably just want to switch these in. I wish we hadn't hardcore sold all of our items. They just you just instantly assume that you're fighting against Dooleys every single round of the game. But I think that's accurate, right? If we're up against the Crook, putting the 1 second cooldown on the stuff doesn't really feel like it's going to give us enough time to like buy health. I think we just want these rays every time against the fuck? Against a level 10 Pygmalion with 7 wins? Oh, this has got to be bad. This has to be one of these pigs to where they've just like lost the first 6 rounds and then just scaled directly up. He's picked up his Crook in here, has a bunch of shield stuff? What the fuck is going on? He's certainly chunking down our health. I don't know. What? I don't know where that went wrong, but that's what I certainly worry about when you see the opponent's stat line and they're at level 10 and they only have 7 wins and you're on day 14. You know that they've lost like the first 5 rounds and then just scaled up into something massive. But like I missed what that guy's build actually did. It was very, very odd. But we were definitely not optimized to deal with whatever he was doing. Coming in and putting in 2 bronze level rays at the very final battle is just not where you want to be. But I think that we did make the correct decision there. I don't think the chrono barrier would have done any good against that, right? If you want to envision that you're playing against the Crook, you would prefer your like cooldown increasing stuff to be against, say, like a Dooley that's trying to activate 7 different items as fast as he can with them all having haste on it. When you're up against something like the Crook, there's not a ton of difference between having your 1500 damage item hit in 6 seconds and having your 1500 damage item hit in 7 seconds, because the second hit typically never comes in, right? And so I think we made the right decision there. We just were not optimized with what we held in our bag for being able to deal with a Crook Dooley. We just didn't have or a Crook Pygmalion. We didn't have the tools to fight through at the end. But still pretty happy with how this went. I think this game went pretty reasonably well. I liked the way that we attacked it. I liked a lot of the drafting avenues that we got to go down, the places to upgrade, or kind of importantly, the places where you never get to upgrade. I think that we hit on a lot of important things there. I think if we could do it over again, the problem we ran into was we probably should have hit some of those medium item shops and looked for the core upgrades. Because I feel like that's where we're really lacking. Having a single upgrade thing to get our combat core to diamond and get our regular core up to gold, get the extra scaling bonuses on our main attack power core, and then giving all of our stuff that extra 5% crit would have just been well worth it. We just kind of, I got kind of spaced out and frustrated there in the middle. To where we're in that just like weird spot where it's like, oh cool, well we're just bazaring into a bunch of fucking dice rolls, right? We're just, as Raynad calls it, we're playing a slot machine with extra steps. That's what we're running into there in the middle of the game with the shops. And I feel like it's, again, kind of like one of the problems the game isn't super well tuned to at this point. As you look at this build right here, this is the build we had on like day 6, day 7. There's nothing in the game that really allows you to upgrade this build weapon-wise. And that's not to say, upgrade something with... I should say there's no like upgrade replacements for these items, and so even if there's not specifically something like GPU to where it's very specifically hasting the core, there's nothing in the sense of, okay, well, core is kind of a core strategy. There's no late game things that say, boost the core like this. All the items kind of suck. We ran into the things that should be doing that and don't, and then we talked about the probably too much strategy width within the game, like with the aquatic Vanessa stuff we were mentioning. But nonetheless, good stuff, good battle. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Busta Me. Thank you for being here.